Dear colleagues, good afternoon. Firstly, I would like to highly appreciate the organization of such big and high quality conference. And I would like to thank for the opportunity to participate in this conference. Now I'm going to share the presentation. Hopefully everything's fine. First, I would like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Ondrej MİTAљ. I work as assistant professor at Pavle Šafarić University in Košice, Slovakia. Currently, I'm the assistant professor at the Faculty of Public Administration. My research activities are focused on the impacts of globalization process on local self-government, as well as implementation of innovative tools which might foster openness and transparency in information delivered from public administration to citizens. The widening access to modern technologies has laid out the foundation for a qualitatively new meaning of information spreading by public administration. And this is the main reason why my contribution is focused on the social media and the use of social media in the time of Covid-19 crisis. So let me shortly introduce you to the structure and the purpose of this article. If we're talking about the quality of information shared by public administration, it seems to be more important than in the past that the quality of shared information must reach the highest qualities and the highest attributes. Government and the organization of public administration are today disclosing more information than ever before. Contemporary interactions between public administration organizations and citizens has been evolving from traditional conversation in the office to conversation on social media platforms, or we might say from traditional face-to-face to real-time online conversation or communication. In this sense, the use of social media might be characterized as a cross-cutting issues of contemporary governance, which might improve transparency and openness, as well as participation and engagement of citizens. However, social media usage is also an issue which is currently discussed in the connection to pandemic situation caused by the Covid-19 disease. If we're talking about the structure of contribution, the theoretical introduction regarding the potential of social media concentrates its attention on the importance of social media and their benefits, which relate to the use of social media by public institutions at all levels of governance. The second part examines selected aspects of social media usage in the conditions of regional cities in Slovakia, 8 regional cities. Primarily informational activities of selected cities in the time of pandemic crisis, as well as the intensity of Facebook usage during first and second wave of coronavirus pandemic in Slovakia. Regarding the findings, the article ends with a discussion about the perspectives and limits of social media usage in the public administration during the crisis, or let's say during the crisis management. If we are talking about the importance of social media in the sphere of public administration, Facebook as a social media network is currently the most popular social networking site in the world. The selection of Facebook as the social networking site is underlined also by the popularity of Facebook. and it's used by organizations from the private, public, and non-government sector. Public administration uses Facebook as a tool which could make communication with the public more effective. Social media in general and their impacts on society continue to grow, and there is no evidence that this popularity is slowing or stopping. In this sense, social media brings sophisticated mechanism which can enrich communication and interactions between public administration and citizens. However, social media are not only platform for two-way communication between citizens and the government. In this sense, social media have the potential to raise public awareness of the execution of public administration functions. Put differently, social media represent a brand new communication platform between citizens and public administration, which is extremely different from interaction tools used so far. Various existing studies focusing on social media crisis communication has changed thinking about sharing information, immediate information, to public during the crisis. Social media was used during various natural and man-made crisis situations such as wildfires in California, or let's say earthquake in Haiti, Hurricane Sandy, organizing of civil society protests in Venezuela, in Egypt, or let's say during the terrorist attacks in Europe in 2017 and 2018. During the time of the disaster or the crisis, people try to communicate with their family and friends while they seek immediate and various information about their basic needs, about transportation, about their safety, their security. During any type of crisis, social media have become, let's say, the highway for seeking and sharing information. The use of social media in the time of crisis is very actual and attractive, both from the theoretical and practical point of view. Let me please introduce the methodology of this study. As it was mentioned many times before, the paper is focused on the analysis of official Facebook pages of 8 regional cities in Slovakia. The research sample was selected intentionally. The study analyzes the official Facebook pages of 8 regional cities in Slovakia: Banská Bystrica, Bratislava, Košice, Nitra, Prešov, Trenčín, Trnava and Žilina. The selection was determined by the fragmentation of local self-government and the importance of regional cities in Slovak Republic. The hypothesis is based on the statement that selected cities have increased the usage of their official Facebook pages to inform citizens during the Covid-19 pandemic. In this sense, the paper tries to answer research questions. How often did selected cities share information about the Covid-19 in the posts shared on their official Facebook pages? And how were official Facebook profiles used during important and crucial times during Covid-19 pandemic, which occurred in 2020? Data were collected between 1st of January of 2020 and 31st of December 2020. All data collected were obtained by analyzing all the official Facebook pages of regional cities. The correct data were presented by using methods of descriptive statistics. Grouping of analyzed posts to 53 weeks of the year was selected because of clear and concise presentation of data, and also define research questions. If we're talking about the basic basic information about activities of selected regional cities in the case of COVID-19. The first post of selected cities, which were published on their official Facebook pages, were posted on March 2nd in the city of Bratislava, March 3, city of Prešov, and also in March of 10 by the city of Žilina, or let's say March of 8 by the city of Trenčín. In this end, we need to mention that the first confirmed positive case of COVID-19 disease was on 6th of March in the Slovak Republic. In this sense, the official Facebook pages of selected regional cities have paid attention on keeping the citizen informed about the possible threat related to COVID-19. And in this sense, some cities informed their citizens few days before the first positive case in the Slovak Republic. So this is very important finding. The key part of our analysis was focused on the occurrence rate of posts, which include information about the COVID-19 disease. Naturally, there were no posts which refers to COVID-19 in the first 2 months of the year. On one hand, January and February was the period when there were first positive cases in other European countries, but there were no positive cases in the Slovak Republic. On the other hand, Slovak cities did not pay serious attention on this dramatically changing situation during January and February. According to obtained data, the post focusing on informing citizens about certain information about the COVID-19 represent 16.51% of all posts of selected cities during examined period, which means that 684 posts was focused on or include information about COVID-19. Comparing this finding to let's say other spheres of social life, the COVID-19 information was, we might say, relatively popular while publishing information on social media, because it could be compared to spheres of life such as sport, development of public infrastructure, or let's say public safety issues. Important part of our analysis was distribution of these identified posts in 53 weeks of the year. These steps also help us to identify weeks which could be characterized by high or let's say intensive use of social media pages. Based on our research, the highest occurrence rate of COVID-19 posts was identified in the 44th week of the 2020. Selected cities published 28 total posts in average per day during this week. We might argue that based on according data, 80% of these posts in this week, in 44th week of the 2020, include statement about the COVID-19. Such high value of posts published in 1 week was not identified in any other week of the year. The second highest number of posts published was identified in 12th week of the year, with 18.43 posts per day. Also, similar high average value of posts published in every day of the week was identified also in 11th week of the year, something more than 17 posts per day, and in 13th week of the year, exactly 17 posts per day. During these weeks, the highest number of posts, including information about COVID-19, was published. It must be stated that during 11th and 12th week of the year 2020, the share of posts which include information about COVID-19 represent 74% out of all posts published by selected regional cities. These 4 weeks represent a period of year when analyzed cities have used maximum potential of their official Facebook pages to inform citizens about actual pandemic situation and relevant restriction, of course, of the government of the Slovak Republic. Based on above-mentioned, social media represent platform which main benefit is to share actual and relevant information between public administration and citizen in real time. In this sense, our attention was put on 2 important periods which were important in the Slovak Republic in the case of COVID-19 pandemic and related measures of the government of Slovak Republic. The center of our attention was put on the beginning of the March and the first strict lockdown, as well as the mass testing of Slovak citizens at the end of the October and at the beginning of the November. These important periods in 2020 are mostly characterized as a first and second wave of coronavirus in the condition of Slovak Republic, and based on presented data, increased activities of selected regional cities in mentioned dates of 2020 can prove assumption that local self-government units use social media as important communication platform for crisis management. Because on the March of 10, the Central Crisis Staff of the Slovak Republic banned the organization of sporting, cultural and public events for 14 days and ordered a mandatory 14-day quarantine for all citizens returning from the most affected countries. Various measures have come into force during 11th week of the year, and based on our data, the next week, 12th week of the year, was used. The Facebook was used very intensively during the 12th week to inform citizens about general issues, but mainly about current crisis caused by COVID-19 disease and also the measures adopted by the government of the Slovak Republic. Besides, another 3 weeks of the year can be characterized as high intensively used because of COVID-19 post. Also, it's probably somewhere between 12 and 15 weeks, 15th week of 2020, which where the Facebook was used intensively by selected regional cities. However, the highest share of COVID-19 posts was identified in 44th week of the year, and the reason is very simple. The last 6 days of October and the first day of November were mainly connected with the COVID-19 topic. Because of mass testing, which was realized in the Slovak Republic between 31st of October and 1st of November. This mass testing was realized by the financial and material sources which were coordinated, of course, by the government of Slovak Republic, but based on the principle of subsidiarity and decentralization, mainly organized by the local self-government units, so also by the 8 regional cities in the Slovak Republic. And in this sense, selected local self-government units used their social network, especially Facebook, to inform citizens in real time on daily basis during this 44th week of the year. The use of Facebook during the crisis management should also be and also the benefits and findings of these studies needs to be perceived in accordance to its limits. The use of Facebook or social media in general by public administration organizations still represent relatively unexplored field of study, and possible negative aspects have not been examined so far. Also, the question of legitimacy is raised automatically when we talk about these new platforms. Of course, the recent sample was selected intentionally, and the paper examines the official Facebook pages of 8 regional cities. According to this fact, a widening number of organizations could be very useful. Also, I hope that paper could foster future research. In this sense, paper tried to support a deeper interest to research both local self-government and public administration in general. In the case of use of Facebook, or let's say social media in general, benefit of the paper might be a comprehensive view, thanks to which local self-government units used their official Facebook pages to prepare better policies, which might help citizens in crisis situation, and in these spheres help local self-government units to plan or to prepare better social media policies in the time of crisis, or let's say the disaster. Moreover, the paper concentrates the attention on the cities in the Slovak Republic, but also finding could be very inspirational for public administration organizations around the world. Of course, international cooperation could also be very useful. Summing it up, selected 8 regional cities have used social media to inform their citizens about the COVID-19 and information about the COVID-19 disease and parallelly measures of government. However, there are some partial questions which need to be researched more deeply, and this is the something that I'm going to do in my next research. I will also focus on all for 141 cities in the Slovak Republic and how they use social media in 2020. And this research also will be focused on the use of Facebook during crisis management, in the case of COVID-19, of course. In this sense, I would like to thank you for your attention. Hopefully, this contribution was very interesting for you, and I'm really open for any cooperation in the future, and of course, any questions could be sent to me, of course, during email. Thank you very much. I wish you very great time in the Congress, and goodbye.